Timcast IRL will be live in Miami with Patrick Bet David, Donald Trump Jr., Matt Gaetz, and Luke Rudkowski. Join us there. Get your tickets by clicking the link in the description below or by going to timcast.com. In this video that's going tremendously viral, I'll just all right, let me just play for you guys.
About this news that Speaker McCarthy has formally launched an impeachment or has said he's going to.
Oh my God, really? Oh my gosh, it's devastating. Ooh, don't do it. Please don't do it. Oh no.
Sorry, we gotta run back to the office, but
I got to be honest, while I see a lot of people on the right sharing this video being shocked that Fetterman had this reaction to it, that's going to work really, really well for the leftist base, for the leftist populists. They're going to look at that as the reason why they like Fetterman. And they obviously Democrats don't want his stroke, right? His affliction,
or who knows what.
Yeah, I mean, right, but they also want to downplay that. They want to play up, don't attack someone who's suffering a medical issue and things like that. But the reason they like the guy is that they're trying to be like Trump. They know that Trump is reaching out to these middle American working class union guys that see that like more of what he does. I'll put it this way: if you're a dude hanging out by the grill with your buddies in the backyard having a beer, you're closer to Trump, I know it sounds shocking, than you are Joe Biden. Joe Biden is so far removed with his Rehoboth Beach, Delaware upbringing and whatever he was doing, I don't know, riding horses and sitting at the pool having kids stroke his legs. Donald Trump, while born rich and wealthy and all that, is closer. I'm not saying he's close, but he's closer to a dude who would hang out and have a beer with you. They need Fetterman, and they need this kind of behavior that comes off as like more down to earth.
Well, and you just saw Trump at the Iowa football game, Iowa versus Iowa State. I mean, he was like he fit right in. It was like he was the grandfather of the godfather of the fraternity. I mean,
well done steak with ketchup.
Yeah, I mean, he held the burger up for everybody to see. But, let's be clear why that resonates with Democrats. For the same reason when Donald Trump hoists a hamburger in the air or says that he wants to have a retribution tour, that resonates with his voters. That behavior from Fetterman resonates with Democrat voters.
Absolutely.
You can show a Democrat all the videos of Joe Biden literally grabbing children on C-SPAN, grabbing their crotches, stroking their hair. Yeah, that's your response. What, you show that to a Democrat?
Oh, no, dude. When we have liberal voters in here, and actually, you guys have seen the video of there was a radio host asking the journalist about Hunter Biden and the corruption. The journalist is like, I don't know what you're talking about. And he's like, Hunter Biden said my dad takes my salary. And he goes, I don't know about that. It's like,
that was Philip Bump.
Philip Bump
Yes.
of the Washington Post.
Yeah, that's supposed to be someone that's serious.
Walks off the set.
Yes.
Unreal.
So when we have these people on, liberal voters, and they come on rarely, and they make it like, how come you won't have us on, Tim? I'm like, bro, y'all are always invited. You just don't show up. When I pull up an article and I'm like, here's an article that says Hunter Biden contacted DC to get prosecutor fired. They go, that's a conspiracy theory.
Washington Post.
No, I'm like, this is the New York Times. Here's the New York Times saying Merrick Garland was pressured by the White House to prosecute Donald Trump specifically because Joe Biden told his staff he wanted it done. And they're like, that's a conspiracy.
Here's the text.
The
Here's
New
the
York
emails.
Times?
Literally, you have his laptop. You have his texts.
I don't have the New York Times pulled up.
Propaganda works.
Oh, here we go. I have the
Very well.
I have the New York Times pulled up. The New York Times.
Jesus.
Garland faces growing pressure as January 6th investigation widens. Hey, you don't like the New York Times? I'm not the biggest fan either, but they outright say in this, let me, is this one right here? Here we go. The Attorney General's deliberative approach, blah, 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 has come to frustrate Democrat allies of the White House. And at times, Biden himself, as recently as late last year, Biden confided to his inner circle that he believed Trump was a threat to democracy and should be prosecuted, according to two people familiar with the comment. It goes on to say that Joe Biden has privately said he wanted Garland to act less like a ponderous judge and more like a prosecutor who was willing to take decisive action over the events of January 6th. So when you have Joe Biden saying to his staff, I want Trump prosecuted, why won't Merrick Garland be more decisive? Do you think Merrick Garland doesn't get the message? So when we're talking about who should be impeached, if your argument is to me, and this is what they say, they come on the show and they're like, Donald Trump was digging up dirt on his political opponent. And I'm like, Joe Biden ordered the prosecution of his political opponent. That's a conspiracy theory. No, it's in the New York Times. Doesn't matter. They don't care.
Well, you had the one lady from New York who ran her campaign on, I'm going to get Donald Trump. That was her entire campaign. And she got elected. And then I don't know what, I think she was the one that ended up indicting him out of New York. Her campaign was elect me, I'll indict Trump.
Wasn't Fani Willis the same thing?
Fani Willis was the same. Letitia James in New York.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. But look, the left gets away with this.
By the way, Letitia James came after us at InfoWars and Alex Jones too.
Yeah, that's right.
Out of New York?
Yeah.
How? Defamation or something?
Well, look, I don't know if I'm at liberty to discuss this, but let's just say Letitia James did everything she could to try to hurt Alex Jones and InfoWars.
Of course.
That's crazy, man.
But look, the left gets away with this because, number one, they control everything now. Long march through the institutions over many decades. And number two, they've got the protection of the press. So when you have the protection of the press, you can literally get away with anything, including murder.
I agree, but I think we're winning. And I think you look at the math and the economics of the matter. You look at Target, their stock dropping, Bud Light dropping. You look at Disney and Netflix losing subscribers. You look at Sound of Freedom, Richmond, North of Richmond. You look at even Yingling getting support. Anyone other than Bud Light. Those numbers mean more than those are hard numbers.
You just talked about a new beer that's about to come out.
Oh no, this is out already. We have some Conservative Dad's ultra right beer, Seth Weathers,
and that's going to sell because people want to support something that isn't globalist corporate propaganda.
Right. You have apparently now they're shipping them by the truckload, by massive semis full. They're selling so much of this beer, and everyone's launching their own thing. When Aunt Jemima gets pulled from the brand, Terrence Williams says, "Screw that," and he makes a replacement. And it's one of the coolest things ever. They removed Aunt Jemima from the pancake things, and it is one of the most shockingly offensive things ever to me that they were like, "Oh, you can't have a black woman on a pancake box," and I'm like, "What? Why?"
Like the most popular pancakes of all time.
Of all time,
get rid of her.
So Terrence Williams says, "I'm going to put my face on the box then," and I'll say that. And I say, "Okay, I'm going to buy from him." Granted, I don't eat a lot of pancakes. Too much sugar, right? I cut that out. But we have a bunch of cousin teas right now, and it's these woke companies need to be told, and they're told simply by not buying their products. So while we can look at the political stuff that's going on, I think what they're doing to you, Owen, I think what they're doing to the J6ers, I think what they're doing to Trump shows how panicked and desperate they are. New Mexico shows how panicked and desperate they are. They have been trying to ban guns for how long? But if you look at the list of states that are going constitutional carry, more than half the country, I think we're up to like 26 or 27 states now. So what does the panicked and desperate Democrat governor do? Decree, I hereby decree. And what happens? People walk outside with their guns, say, nope, it's not working. So what are they going to do? Well, when a person is drowning, they thrash about violently. And as they start to lose power, which is clear from 2016, Hillary Clinton wasn't supposed to lose. The fact that she did shows the establishment power is waning. These corrupt establishment shills inherited a machine they did not know how to operate, and they are losing control of it. And the people are starting to take control back. They're freaking out because of it, and it's going to get nasty. But in the end, I think we win. And that's why I keep telling everybody, people say this stuff like, they're talking about, what do we do now to resist? I'm like, it's really, really simple. You knock on doors, you get the word out, you only buy products from companies that support your values, and you vote for Donald Trump in 2024.
Well, and think about how politicians and even people in the political realm operate, right? It's all about votes or popularity. And so when the New Mexico governor comes out and makes maybe the most anti-Second Amendment decision or decree of all time, what happens? Far left Democrat Ted Lieu has to disavow it. David Hogg, the most anti-Second Amendment activist out there, has to disavow it. So even they know, like, hey, we better not go along with this because this is not popular right now.
Everything we're seeing is acts of desperation. But I want to clarify, because people keep saying, like, how could they have control of the institutions but we be winning? Because let's say that they have 70% of institutional power, and in 6 months they'll have 67%. That means we are winning. They are being pushed back and pushed out of these institutions. For too long, most people have sat by and let them do these things. And even during the I don't want to say the peak, but even in the trenches of the culture war in, say, 2018-19 with Trump and Russiagate, people were not doing these boycotts or boycotts. And in fact, I was kind of like, I don't know, it seems weird to me. I don't want to be like that. Now we're at the point where we're creating our own chocolate. Well, Daily Wire has their own chocolate brand, and it's got better ingredients. The Daily Wire, Jeremy's chocolate has like 4 ingredients in it, no preservative, garbage. It's like cocoa butter, sugar, and milk or something.
And
Amazing.
isn't that part of the populist movement too? It's not just a political thing, it's even a health thing.
Yeah.
You know, there's
Seed
more
oils.
to it. Seed oils, all this other stuff. But you know, here's an interesting phenomenon that has been happening really, I would say post-Obama more than anything. Maybe it's liberals being anti-war to being pro-war, but even that's a little more nuanced. Here's something that's direct and right in your face. It used to be that the First Amendment and the Second Amendment were huge liberal causes. Liberals were always going to go to bat for the First Amendment. Liberals were always going to go to bat for the Second Amendment. Where that's not a liberal belief anymore. Now, if you want to be a modern day American liberal progressive Democrat, you're anti-free speech, you're anti-Second Amendment. I mean, that's been the phenomenon that we've witnessed.
It's a complete inversion, right? What we've seen over the last 2 decades is a complete inversion, because what you're describing, Owen, is classical liberalism, small L liberalism, right? What we have now is a wholesale takeover of the Democratic Party by the Marxists, by the communists.
They call themselves progressives because they call themselves progressives because it's a subversive ideology. Sorry,
which is another inverse because they're really regressive.
Exactly.
That's exactly right. And I have always said that communism never dies. It just gets rebranded.
Yeah.
So what you have now is a rebranding of communism to make it sound sort of 21st century and hip and something that's going to attract younger voters, et cetera. And it has been working. But Tim, to your point, conservatives for a long time were anti-boycott. Oh, we can't do it because they'll do it to us and we're better than that, and all of that moral superiority nonsense, right? But now we are starting to feel our own power because so many of us realize we're at a tipping point and there is no alternative other than losing our country. So we're willing to put our disposable income where it counts, and it's all organic. It's not like the left, doing their astroturfing nonsense.
Wait, you mean they don't actually like Dylan Mulvaney? Come on.
But it's actually organic, right? So what we've seen with Disney, with Target, with a whole range of companies now has been an organic choice by millions of us to say, we're going to put our money where our mouth is now, and we're going to make a proactive choice.
This is a point that I've made a couple times, and I completely agree with you, but there is an inherent vulnerability in liberalism, and that's that liberals listen to their opponents or they believe that open dialogue is important. You believe in the First Amendment. That means you have to hear the opponents out, people that you're arguing with. People on the left, people that are not liberals, they do not have the desire.
Clarify, you mean like classical and philosophical liberal?
Yes.
Like meaning.
When I'm talking about liberals, I'm talking about classical liberals. When I'm talking about people that they don't agree with, when I talk about progressives, I'm talking about people that don't have an enlightenment, don't have respect for the Enlightenment. They don't believe that you can actually come to an agreement based on truth and honesty. They believe that it's all about perspective, and so it all boils down to power. And you have to have liberals understand that when you're dealing with people that don't respect things like honesty, that don't respect the freedom of speech because they don't believe that there is a freedom, they don't believe that there is a truth. So if these people are approaching it without a respect for honesty and open dialogue and stuff, they're all playing a power game. I think that the classical liberals in the US have finally started to realize that inherent vulnerability is there. And so you can be liberal with other liberals and approach other liberals and expect an honest dialogue. But you have to first ascertain if they're actually liberals. If they're commies, they're going to lie to you. Commies always lie.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.